I'll introduce the practice here. And, this can be a quiet time just for reflecting, I think. The point is we're going to do a contemplation, so a deep reflection, so we can share our answers afterwards, after this 20-minute session. But you don't have to share, and that's important that I tell you this because what you write is private. So don't be writing with the thought that, oh, I'm going to have to tell other people this. So just say that. And I'm going to ask you a series of questions that are going to be gratitude begging, and you can just reflect on them and write down a few words. I recommend just write down some words. You don't have to write sentences or anything. I'm going to do this too. So the first question is not really something to write down, but can you think of something simple, something very simple maybe you can see in your room here? And I just want you to imagine, it can be the pen you're holding even. And I just want you to imagine a parallel universe where everything is the same, except this thing is missing. You don't have this thing. And picture that and reflect a little bit on what would that change. Maybe it's very small, whatever. But think about how it might cause an inconvenience if you don't have this thing. It can just be a small inconvenience, but just think about that. And then contrast that with, oh, hang on a second, you are in a universe where you do have this thing. And then feel how, oh, that inconvenience of not having that thing, well, you've got this thing. So, for example, I can imagine a world that's totally the same, but I don't have this pen. Everything's the same, but I don't have this pen. Okay, whatever, big deal, no pen. But actually, I am in a world where I do have this pen, which is great because now I can write in my journal and I can do this practice with you. So, I don't have to even get up and go look for another pen. Like just the simple fact that, oh, cool, I saved myself some time, some seconds, some convenience. And just by reflecting a little bit on little things, the cushions that I'm sitting on. Imagine a world that's totally the same, but I don't have these cushions. Okay, well, maybe I'd be a bit less comfortable sitting. But no, I do have these cushions. Great. Okay, I'm more supported. And now I'm just feeling a little bit more gratitude for these mundane objects, which I normally wouldn't think twice about. I take it for granted that I have them. So maybe you guys can just reflect on a few things you see in your room, objects, and maybe you can write down why it's great that you have those things. Okay, I'll ask you another question now. So, what is a quality about yourself? What is a characteristic you have, a feature you have that you are grateful for? Maybe just write down something simple. And it can be silly. Like, it can be like, I'm really grateful that I have eyebrows because it stops, you know, stuff getting in my eyes. It can be something like that. Yeah, I'm glad I've got nose hair because if I didn't have nose hair, I'd be sneezing more. It doesn't have to be a physical trait. It can be a personality quality. If you guys want to give me a thumbs up when you're ready for the next question, that's cool. Good. All right. So now, who is someone in your life that you are really grateful you met, and why? Yeah, and just to prompt you a bit more, I'm going to ask you guys to find one more detail about this person, just to go a bit deeper, reflect more. One more reason why you're grateful you met this person. Give me a thumbs up when you're ready for the next question. Cool. Okay, now, what is an aspect of your living situation that you are thankful for? And this can be just, the physical building you live in, or the city or village you live in, the region or the country or the time, the year, the century. Can you find just where you find yourself living? What are you appreciative about this? And I'm doing the same thing. I'm writing as well. And again, try to come up with one more example. Okay, good. Now, in the fashion of La Via Negativa, what is something difficult you have faced, or maybe a perceived shortcoming you have? And can you find something to be grateful for about that? So something that you would normally view as negative about yourself, can you find a way to be grateful for it? Maybe it taught you a lesson. Maybe it caused you suffering, but in some way you're stronger because of that suffering. Can you find something there? And remember, this is being written for you. This is private. You don't have to share any of these details. I won't ask. Okay. Now, last question. What is something in the future that you are looking forward to? And I kind of feel like this might be particularly difficult at this time in history. I find this question kind of difficult. And maybe it's just a matter of expanding your horizon. Maybe you don't feel too optimistic about the short-term future, but can we imagine that in the long-term future there is something greater awaiting? Or maybe adapt your resolution level. If we're just thinking at sort of the economic, political level, maybe it's hard to feel grateful for how we predict the future to be, but can you tap into personal level, spiritual level? Okay, now this last one isn't a question, but just something to reflect on, to contemplate, think about. In the spirit of the holidays, this is often a time of giving, and can you think about an act of kindness you can do for someone else to show your appreciation of them? And it could be buying them a gift or making them a gift. It could be simply just sending them a message and just be like, "Hey man, I'm thinking of you, and I want to let you know, I really appreciate our friendship." Or you'd send them a message, or even write them a letter. Or can you think about someone to whom you can do something little for in this coming week, and you go out of your way just to show someone else that you are grateful for them having appreciated who they are. So maybe, yeah, just spend a minute and reflect on perhaps someone and something small you could do as an act of kindness. Okay. If you want some more time, it's cool. You can give me a thumbs up when you're done. Right, everyone, great. Cool. All right. Yeah, it's really nice to just take this time to do that kind of practice with you guys. It might have been something I wouldn't have done by myself, but it's good to have this kind of excuse to do it all together. And yeah, it's like it might not even be immediately obvious the therapeutic benefits of taking this deliberate time to ponder upon all the things you're grateful for. But yeah, by doing this, you do slowly shift the bias, in the direction towards being grateful rather than focusing on lack. And this can be done in many ways. Yeah, like again, maybe taking time to focus on love rather than fear. Deep reflections on, yeah, your life will end. You will die sometime. Can you really think about that? Come to terms with that. Ponder that. There's a finitude of experience here, and then be really grateful for every day you have because it's finite nature.